On today's episode, I'm trying to start the engine after 3 years. I drain all the water from the engine block. The door got jammed. I'm trying to be handy and not succeeding. And the engine is alive again. Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Alex and this is my beloved BMW E30. It's a 1989 model that originally had a 1.6 engine on it, but a couple of years ago I decided to swap it for a M20 B25. That translates to a 2.5 liter inline 6 engine that originally was put in a couple of old BMWs like the E12, E30, E34, E21, E28 and the Z1. This particular engine was in a car that was imported from California. The guy that imported the car wanted to sell it for parts, and I was the lucky one that managed to buy the engine. I didn't have any service history of the engine, but I was able to take it for a run before buying it. When I did the first service of the engine and changed all the oil and the coolant, it all looked super clean. One of the cleanest engines I have ever seen. This car has been in my possession for the last 7 years, and this is how it looked the day I bought the car. Now the plan is to start the engine after 3 years, change the antifreeze, change the oil, and then step by step restore and refurbish every single part of it. Not opening the car for a long time gets the door seal to be a little bit stuck. Just a manual pull should do the trick. Guys, this is pretty much the way it looks after 3 years of not going anywhere, but the thing that I really love about old BMW is the specific way they smell after a long period of time not opening the car. As you can see, the engine bay is pretty filthy and needs a proper wash, but this will come in the next episode. First I'll take the battery to recharge it. The battery is about a year old, but since I never used it on the car, I think a recharge is the appropriate way to start. If I hate anything, it's dirt under the hood. I cannot wait to start to clean the engine bay. Don't you love how old cars have a different way of opening and closing the hood? I let the charger do its thing, and in the morning we had this. Today I have a very special guest. My oldest son Tudor is here, learning and helping. First I want to take the fuse out for the fuel pumps, so we don't start the engine without oil pressure. The oil level is good, but keep in mind we are just keeping this oil to start the engine. In the second I see the engine starts, the first thing I'll do will change the oil and the filter. Guys, let's put the fuse back and let's see if we can start this engine after 3 years. Și ține. Oprește. The fuel line has a big crack, and I saw a couple of fuel drops on the ground, so we are not going to start it anymore, just in case we catch fire. Hello guys, I'm back from the shop. I bought fuel lines, antifreeze, oil, water, oil filter, and the most important, coffee. It was at this stage when I checked the coolant level that I found out that I didn't have any antifreeze. It was only water. So immediately I checked the engine block caps, and thank God they are all in place. And here is the bolt that releases all the water from the engine block. At this stage I was a little bit confused why the water is not pouring out. Then I remembered to remove the cap from the expansion tank. This is pretty clean water, so this is not a good sign. In order to flush all the water, we have to remove the cap to the expansion tank and another bolt on the radiator underneath. So in order to be sure that we have all the water out, there's another drain plug on the left side of the radiator, and I'm going to open it, so I'm sure there's no water in the system anymore. After draining all the water from the system, it was time to put the antifreeze. In order to be sure we don't have any trapped air in the cooling system, we have to open a 8mm bolt that's on the thermostat casing. At the moment we cannot continue with the cooling system because in order to properly fill the system we need a running engine, and first we have to change the fuel line. As you can see, it's very cracked and quite dangerous because if it starts leaking it could catch a fire anytime. Now guys, at this stage I made a mistake. I was lucky enough to see it and not cause a fire. I forgot to push the fuse back up on, and when I removed the fuel line there was a little bit of pressure there and fuel sprayed directly into the fuse box. Now I'm waiting for it to dry. I disconnected the battery before. Always disconnect the battery because it's a much safer way to do things on your car. And guess who came by to support me? My lovely wife and my older son, Tudor. The new fuel line, it's done. I reconnected the battery, the fuel pump fuse is connected, and now we start the engine and see if we have any leaks. I double checked everything, the fuel line was not leaking, and there you can see some steam from the water that drained from the block and spilled on the exhaust manifold. I properly hate changing the oil on the side of the road. It's messy, it's unsafe, but it had to be done before I start the engine again. So after the fresh oil was in, I once again removed the fuse for the fuel pump so I can give it a couple of spins in order for the oil pump to do its job. Fresh fuel was most needed because what was in the fuel tank had at least 3 years and it wasn't much either. So there you have it guys, the mighty BMW E30, it's back on the road. It's not a perfect car, it has some parts and bits that will have to be changed or restored, but this is the part where you guys come in hand. The only way that I could know if you guys liked this video is by hitting the like button and subscribing. Thanks a million. Keep in mind that I'm not a professional, this is not something I do every day, this is just a hobby of mine. Now back to the car, I've discovered the steering pump or the power steering, something there, it's not working. The brakes are rubbish, despite the fact that just before I left the car in this parking space 3 years ago, I changed everything on the front of the car. So in the next episode, we'll have to see what's going to be changed again. Now, I'm gonna leave you guys with a couple of videos of me driving the car. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers!